It's you and me, no place I'd rather be. Ding dong, hello, let's make this house a home.
Welcome to Spencer and Sarah's house. We are back again.
Yep. Back again.
Hell yeah. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm so tired. I just have not been able to sleep through the night lately. I'm like, oh my,
Sucks. Yeah.
I don't know why. It's just not like, I don't know. Well, part of it is because I'm still sleeping on a pull-out couch, but like,
Oh
whatever.
no.
And then I don't know. I guess I was up a little early today. There was like a lot going on in my building today. I was like, people are vacuuming. What's going on? I just need to pop some melatonin and just like pass out.
Definitely.
I'm okay.
That's good.
How about you?
I'm good. Let's see. I made a horrific creature out of crochet. I crocheted it. I was trying to crochet a hedgehog. The pattern I was given was not what the photo was. So I realized halfway through, so I was like, I just gotta wing it and I gotta make this hedgehog. The issue is that in my mind, I combined a hedgehog and a porcupine together. And so the result is not great. Let me go grab it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go grab it.
All right, avid listeners, let us judge Sarah's crochet creation together.
What'd you say?
I'm just talking to the viewers.
Oh, perfect. Okay, this is.
I'm ready. Oh God, I'm not.
Okay, the camera, it doesn't look that bad.
Yeah, you look good. Looks good. You look so good.
I feel like this is one of the first times where I've made something just so terrible, but like I was I had to finish it, and I was like, this just needs to be done.
It's not terrible. It's totally a hedgehog. I 100% got that. I'm not being sarcastic. I know it sounds that way, but I'm not. I'm really not. It looks like a hedgehog. It does.
Okay. Yeah, I guess on camera it looks a little better.
I love him.
Thanks. His name is Harney. Robin named him.
Harney?
Yeah, Harney. It's our family heirloom now. I put a whole week into this.
I love him. I'm glad we have Harney.
Yeah.
Well, no,
That's how I'm doing.
I love it. It's better than what I could have made. Hell yeah. Good for you, sir.
Thanks.
Look at us with our waters.
Water. Hell yeah.
You're my ice.
Yeah.
I cannot drink water unless it's like the coldest thing in the world. Like I need to feel it going down my throat and into my stomach.
That's crazy. I've like read that like it takes your body more energy to like warm up cold water. So it's like when you're hot, it's better to just like have like regular temperature water. Otherwise, you're using more energy to like you like when it. I give up. I've reached my limit.
To be fair, we have done technically 4 episodes today. Technically.
Yeah.
And we all know that the 4th one gets a little crazy.
That's true. That's perfect. I'm excited then because this episode we are talking about like live theater mess ups and like the stories we have about the mistakes we've made while in live theater.
Yeah, I feel so stressed about this episode because I hate reliving my mistakes.
I'm
This is a
excited.
nightmare.
I love these kind of stories.
Who wants to go first?
Mm,
Do rock, paper, scissors?
yeah, we could do that.
Let's do rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Great.
Rock.
Papers. I can't do this on Skype.
We can't. We'll count down. We'll go 3, 2, 1. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Okay.
Okay.
3,
3,
2,
2, 1. Rock.
paper,
scissors. Shoot.
What is that?
Paper.
I mean, I have to go or you have to go?
I think you can pick because you won. If you want to go or you want me to go.
Oh god, I'm losing it. You go first.
Great. Let's see. One of my core memories of one was my first show in Chicago, which was called The Fires of Nero, which if you've seen it, you know the song.
That's bringing back memories for me too.
There was a scene where it was like a black box theater. So you come in just like from the sides or like the back of the theater to come in, but then you also can come in. There's a scene where I come in from like the entrance where like the audience walks in to get to their seats. So like there's a scene going on stage between like the main character and his mom or something. And it's a weird scene where they're getting like it's about Emperor Nero, so it's Roman times, telling this life story of Nero. So those two are like getting like intimate in a weird way. My character is just like a page boy supposed to make an announcement in the next scene, so not the scene that's happening on stage, and I'm supposed to like come in on stage from the front part of the stage. And so I like am coming around because I have to walk like outside of the theater, so I don't know where we're at yet in the scene. I walk around, I come in to the space, and like it's like dark and silent. So I'm like, oh my god, I missed my cue. So I run up to the stage, and then I see what's happening. And I'm like, I'm too early, but I'm like, the audience would see me, so I'm standing right next to them. And I'm watching something that's I should not be seeing as characters on the page boy, watching my boss and his mom like be intimate. So I run in, I'm like, they're on stage, and I go, and then I like slowly back away. And it just became a part of that show where I knew a secret that no one else knew. And then the scene happened later, and I like came in after that. But I was like, "Oh, this shouldn't have happened." That was a funny one.
Oh my god. I did Your Good Man Charlie Brown in high school. I was Lucy. I had this wig for Lucy, and I don't know why, because I always do this. I usually pin the crap out of my wigs, but this time I didn't put a single bobby pin in there. I don't know why. And it's the scene where Schroeder's playing the piano and I'm singing, and I laid on the piano, like, you know, he's at the keys, I'm laying back so that I can look into Schroeder's eyes, and my wig just fell off onto the piano. But I was upstage of the audience. Like, Schroeder was kind of blocking me. So I immediately grabbed my hair, did a barrel roll off the piano. So I was upstage now behind it, put my wig on, and then got up and did the song, and then was crying backstage.
That's funny.
I think that's why I hate wigs. And when I did Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, they were like, we'll just put your hair in a ponytail. I was like, no, cut it off. We'll just cut it off. I don't want to fuck with hair. Like, just get rid of it.
Great. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Wow, trauma.
I had one when I did Little Women, the musical, and were in like one of the beginning songs where it's like us sisters like bouncing around and playing, and we had like these trunks that like held things like props in it and stuff, and like my character like ran around and would like jump over the trunks, and I don't know if you may have been at this show where
I feel like I definitely saw this show.
I jumped over it, but like I was wearing a long skirt and my skirt got caught on my shoe in the trunk, like as I was jumping over it, so I completely fell on my face, and everyone went, and I had to like get up and like keep singing. And I was like, oh god. That was a funny one because I just fell flat on my face in the middle of a song.
God. Musical theater is just so intense.
I love it.
Me too. I miss it. I did Footloose,
Mm.
and I was Ren's mom, and we like have this scene at the town hall first where they're like, dancing's not allowed. It's like near the end or whatever. And then I like give Ren some speech, like, don't give up, son, or whatever. I can't really remember. But the way they staged this is they had all the townsfolk sitting on like the edge of the stage right near the audience. So like then like to make it look full or whatever.
Yeah.
And when I got up to do my scene with Ren, my ballet flat came off one of my foot, like my feet, into the like audience. So I was like, oh shit. But like there's no time. There's like a blackout for us to get up, clear the stage, and then I have to be standing there to give Ren the speech. So I'm doing the whole thing with one ballet flat. And then in the blackout, I leapt off the front of the stage somehow in the dark, immediately found my shoe, and just booked it backstage. Thankfully. I hate when things go wrong. It drives me so nuts.
Mm-hmm.
You got any more? You got a few more?
There was one where like it was that show. Oh, what was it called? 10 Little Tenants? The 10 Tenants?
Yeah,
tenants?
I remember. Yeah, I think it was 10 Little Tenants? 10?
I think so, yeah. And it was a student written and put on show. So it was in like a small black box theater, and it was like for our festival at college. And
yeah,
I
took photos for it. I remember.
Yeah, you did. We did. I played this like janitor that was only in the beginning and the end of the show. And so
funny in it.
I really loved playing that character. He was so fun. And I start off the show just like sweeping the stage. And then there's supposed to be, I like have this little opening monologue. Do I have the opening monologue? I think it was a character walks in, starts talking, and then I have a little like thing that I say, and then I venture off the stage. And so I'm on stage right at the beginning. The lights go down. The show's going to begin, so I hang off to the side in my spot. And then like no one walks in the door for a long time. And then it just keeps, no one walks in, and then someone like walks out to go grab him, and still no one comes in. And so I'm like, okay. And the audience is just looking at me because I'm like the only one on stage. So I'm just there, and I look up at everyone, and I said, what'd I say? I said, anyone like to read? And then everyone started laughing. Like, it was a great audience. It was very funny. So like everyone like was very like helpful and like nice, and so like they were like talking about books they're reading, and then I was like, anyone know any songs? So then we started singing a song, and then finally the character walked in. I was like, great, let's get this going then. That was a fun one where I was like, I don't know what to do in this moment because it's not, I can't do anything, but it's just me up there. That was fun.
I remember hearing about that. Yeah, I think I remember someone saying you were like, anyone read any books?
It's absolutely chaotic.
Something like that happened when we were in Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead together. I don't know if you remember that one. Where I have two from that one. The one that I was thinking of with this one was like we had a scene where like everyone's on stage at the same time. Hamlet comes in, he throws Ophelia on the ground. He's like, "Fuck you! Like I'm done with this." And then he leaves, And then the king and what's the other guy's name? Polonius or something like that. They're supposed to like come in and like do this speech or whatever about how Hamlet's lost his mind, but they never entered. And Ophelia's just like crying on the ground. And I remember like making eye contact with, I think it was whoever was the head player across from me, and I was like, well, we gotta do something. So I just like, the whole thing was like she was thrown to the ground and yelled at. We're all just staying like, oh, poor Ophelia. So I like went over and I like helped her up, and we just like shared this look, and then she just cried and ran off stage. And then magically those other two characters were like, oh shit, like this is our entrance. And then they came in and the scene continued, but there was like a good 2 seconds we were all like, well, what are we gonna
do? That was wild. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and I hate improv. I love a script. I mean, I hate improv for me. I'm bad at it. Seeing improv, I am not a good improviser. So I was like, I'm shitting my pants. Like I don't know what to do. It was like that was like kind of crazy that I even did anything in that moment. To be honest.
Hell yeah.
Like, oh shit. And the other one, and you'll remember this too because it was the same show. I had this show was so big. We had 3 acts. There was a lot going on in the show. Of the entire show, I had a singular prop, one prop, and it was a letter that I had to, in the 3rd act, pull out of my like breast pocket. Like it was like in a jacket or something. And every rehearsal, I was forgetting it. Every single fucking rehearsal, up to like final dress, I still was like, I would get out there and I'd be like, oh shit, I'm sorry, you guys, I don't have the letter. And so they fucking assigned, I think, our stage manager. She wrote a Post-it note that was stuck on my mirror the whole show that was like, don't forget the letter in the 3rd act. But then they also assigned her to come check in with me before the 3rd act to be like, do you have the letter? I was like, yes, I do. And I felt so horrible because I was like, it's the only prop I have, but I keep fucking forgetting it. And it's so important to have because it's literally the letter that shows that Hamlet betrayed us. So I'm like, why don't I have this fucking letter? I can never remember it to save my life. It's horrible. Oh, I felt so awful.
That was funny.
So the worst one though was when I did She Kills Monsters and I had my sword on my shoulder. Like I didn't realize someone was walking up behind me and I lifted the sword off my shoulder to like just hold it straight down and I smacked our fight director in the lip with my sword.
Oh,
it was awful. I'll never ever get over that. It was the worst moment of my life for sure.
Oh no.
That wasn't in a show, but that was during rehearsal. And I got whacked in the back of the head with a club during that show while we were doing one of our like last like slow mode. I was like, this is just a day. Like that show was like the rehearsal was so rough, but I really loved that show.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I don't like to do shows with weapons anymore. I'm just like, ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Horrid times. Oh, I hate stage weapons. I'll do stage combat. I'll fight someone barefisted, but now I get way too nervous whenever they're like, are you cool with weapons? I'm like, no, I'm not. But danger to myself and others.
Yeah, I did when I did Mr. Burns and we had that sword fight. There was one, I think it was like a dress rehearsal where like my scene partner we were fighting, our like swords like didn't hit right, they didn't land correctly, so then his sword went down like onto my thumb and it just like crushed it and I was like, oh, like, I couldn't like hold the sword properly for a while. And I was like, this fucking hurts.
That sucks. Yeah. Oh god. It's just rough. It's so rough out there. Yikes.
And now time for a break. Our breaks have a visual component that can be viewed on our YouTube channel.
So for show memorabilia, obviously I used to like collect the posters that they would make of our shows. So my directors over the years have given me these little, keepsakes from them. But there's this thing that my friend Johanna made for me when we were in the show She Kills Monsters together. So I'm just gonna show that to you real quick. Here it is. She hand painted it herself. Like, she did this. This is all her. That quote is a line from the show. I actually think it's something I said, my character. And then this is us. Like, this is literally like how our hair was cut for the show, like the outfit, like our costumes. And then yeah, there's the show title and the playwright and the year we did it, and she signed it too. And I love it. It hangs on my wall with all my other stuff. So thank you, Johanna.
I'm going to show, it's not a memorabilia from a show that I've done, but it's a nice memory and a gift from one of my friends I did the show with, from Johanna. That is my favorite memento that I have, which I'll show now. So this comes from the show Mr. Burns: A Post-Electric Play. I played Bart Simpson, and Johanna played Maggie. Is that Maggie? Lisa Simpson. So we were siblings in that, and this is just a beautiful painting that I cherish and framed. It's really great. And now back to the podcast.
I always get worried about, like, because have you ever had, like, hiccups during a show?
How do you mean? Oh, like the actual hiccups?
Yeah. Yes, yeah.
I thought that's what we were talking about.
Like a oopsie.
You mean like legit, like,
Yeah.
okay. No,
I have a fear of, like, getting hiccups, but I think, like, you would only get hiccups if you're, like, too relaxed, which I feel like isn't possible in a show unless, like, you've been doing it for a really long time. But I get so worried I'll get hiccups, or, like, a burp will accidentally come out.
That's fair. I'm always worried I'm gonna yawn.
Ooh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's like, that one's hard to hide. Like, you either like, or it's like you're like,
yeah.
Oh God.
I had, again, in Mr. Burns, there's, like, during the sword fight, and you'd have to, like, walk around the whole space. I crop dusted the entire area. And I was like, I can't stop it. It's just happening. I was like, so sorry to everyone. I've just contaminated this entire stage.
Oh my God. The first few shows I ever did, I was definitely worried about peeing my pants, so I would not drink anything before the show.
Oh my God.
So worried. What if I had to go to the bathroom in the middle of my scene? Yeah, I feel like a lot of mine are just like stupid little things. Like, there's been 2 times in my life where I like messed up the order of lines, and it like fucked me up big time. Like, I did Steel Magnolias once, and that's just a lot of like standing and talking. And I like jumped 3 pages ahead in the script, and I remember seeing my director being like, "No, what are we gonna do? Like, we're in it now." But then somehow we got through that section of script, and then it just naturally segued back to where we were. So we finished that, and then flipped to the end of the scene. It was so crazy. And in the last show I ever did at ISU, The Illusion, there was a scene where, God, I can't remember his name in the show. He was like like very, like, I can't remember what his fucking character is. Our classmate Jack Radke, I think, played him. God, I can't remember what his name was. Anyway, we had like a scene where he's standing in front of me and I'm behind, like at a weird like distance. Like, I can't see the front of his face still. And I don't know which of us messed up. It was probably me. I'm just take the head and say it was definitely probably me. But like something was set out of order. It was, you know what? It was definitely me. I said something out of order because it's like a little repetitive, and he just like went with it. But I didn't realize I said it wrong until he like made up for it by saying the other line, and then I was standing there being like, "Oh shit, I messed this up," and then having to traverse that. But like I think we played it off pretty well. But I remember in that moment, like, I hate when it's my fault. I hate when it's me. Like, but if it's outside reasonings, like, I'm like, I think I can muddle my way into figuring this out. But whenever I'm the one who makes the mistake, I'm like, oh God, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do?
I get worried about like with those like with like line mess ups or like jumping a line, I get worried about like getting caught in a loop where it's like you just keep going the same. It's like you jump to this part and then you work it way back, but then you get to that part again and then you just work your way back again. I always get worried about doing that.
Yeah. Ugh, that's worse. The worst. I think I can't even think of like any show where I probably had a perfect run. You know what I mean? In terms of like not a mistake was made. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like there was a point where I just kind of like accepted that like because it's live theater, like it's not supposed to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And like how like I think it was like live theater is like it's like never a finished project. Like you can just keep doing it over and over and over again. It'll never be like done. And I think like once I made peace with that, I was like, okay, well, we'll just see how silly we can get this time around.
Yeah. I love live theater. I miss it so much. I wish I did it more. Man.
It's great. There was one show I saw recently, or like maybe like last year, where it was like a Western theme, so they were at like a saloon, and this guy had to like put on a glass and then like slide it down to the bar to the person, and they did that, and the person tried to catch it but missed, so it just shattered across the wall at the end of the stage, and everyone broke. Like everyone just started laughing. Like it was absolutely hilarious. It was so funny. And then the guy just had to like re-pour it and then do it again. But like everyone was laughing for like 3 minutes and
That's good at least.
it was so good.
Oh man. I actually really like quick changes too. Like I think they're so stressful, but I also like it's so rewarding when you pull it off. Like that's the best. There was a quick change I had to do for She Kills. It really wasn't that fast of a quick change in terms of the one that I've before. But like I had so much gear because I had like the armor and the sword and like all this stuff that I had to take off, and then the actual costume I had to put on was pretty easy. But oh my god, I remember there was like one time where I was like my boot was stuck in the shorts I was trying to pull up. I was like freaking out. And the person helping me was like, hold on, and just like quickly untied it, pulled it up. I was like, thank you so much, and like ran to my queue. And oh god, I actually kind of live for that adrenaline rush.
That's like the one thing I do dread is like I'm fine improvising a line if I have to, but if I have to do a quick change, it stresses me out so much. Because all I want to do is rush, but I'm like, if I rush, I'll mess up. So I need to be like really adamant on what I do.
God.
That's what
I really like.
Go ahead.
No, you.
I was just gonna say, Mr. Burns made to do like that quick change on stage, and like it was like specifically timed too, so you had to like just undress and get as much stuff as you can, but it was like everything was thrown across the stage as well, so you didn't really know where things were. It was absolutely madness.
Yeah, I love those just because when they pay off, you're like,
yeah,
I'm unstoppable.
True.
Yeah, and I actually liked that at ISU. Well, I'm sure a lot of schools do this, but like we also had to all pick a crew to work throughout like our freshman year. Like costume crew was so fun helping with the quick change because it was just like bam, 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 it was so quick.
Yeah.
I love like that aspect of live theater. It's like so much is happening behind the scenes that you just like don't even think about as an audience member, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There was this show I saw in Chicago. It was Frankenstein at the Looking Glass Theater. And I will never get over this moment because it was so amazing. My sister had to write like a paper on a show, so we went to go see it. And I don't know how they did this. It's so shocking to me. It was like a little doctor's bag, and the whole Frankenstein monster popped out of it, like from under the stage and out through it. Ugh! And it was so scary because it was so sudden. My sister jumped, and the coffee beans, like it was like chocolate covered coffee beans. She jumped, and they went flying off. We were just sitting there, like trying so hard not to laugh because it was such a scary moment. But like, it was so funny. But I just like, I think about that moment all the time. I'm like, how did they fit this human through there? Like, I just don't get it.
That sounds so familiar, and
it was so cool.
I don't remember if you've just told me this before, or if I also saw it. I don't remember. That story sounds so familiar.
And it started with like sheets covering the whole stage, so you couldn't see anybody. You could just like kind of see shapes. And, it was so cool. It was such a cool show. But like now I think about that whenever something does strike me like that, I'm like, how did they fucking do that?
Yeah.
What's going on backstage?
Yeah, so cool. That's what at the Illinois Shakespeare Festival one season they did. Oh, what's the show called? Cymbeline, I think, which I like love that show. But they only had, I think it was like they only had 6 actors. I think 4 or 6 actors. It was a very limited cast, and one actor played like the 2 opposing like love interests. And so in the beginning, he played like the villain, the good guy, and like it was like doing like quick changes. He was like half of his costume was one was the other, and he was like swapping around. And then they would like, but it got so crazy to the point where like there was like 3 of them swapping characters, and they had to like run around through like undercoves to come out different ways, like it within like 30 seconds. It was absolute madness, and it was so cool to watch. Like even when they messed up, it was like just fun to watch.
Oh my God,
it was good.
So cool. Yeah, I love live theater. I miss it so much.
It's good.
I think that's all I can remember too in terms of screw ups. I'm sure.
Yeah. There is one crazy one. It didn't happen to me, but I was in the pit orchestra for this in high school, and we were doing The Sound of Music. And for like the younger, what are they called? Von Trapp?
The Von Trapp children?
Yes, yeah. So the younger ones were like played by kids that like weren't a part of our school, but they were like younger, and they came in to do this musical. And there was I don't remember any of his names, but the younger boy, he like, this was during a show, and he went to like did a scene, went off stage, we're playing music and stuff, and all of a sudden like we hear like through like the mics like just the sound of someone peeing. And like we just hear like while the scene's still going on, stuff's happening, and then there's a like, but you hear it and it just sounds like water is like trickling, and so we're like, what is that sound? And then you hear a flush, and everyone goes, oh! And the person that was just forgot to turn off his like mic pack, so everyone heard him pee. And then like that kid hasn't lived it down. He like ended up going to high school later on, and like everyone still remembers that story, and like it's so sad. But like it wasn't even his fault. It was someone forgot to turn off his mic pack. But at the time I thought it was hilarious. I was like, someone like, you just listening to someone pee in this like during the show. I think that's so funny.
Oh my God. That's so hilarious. And what a good lesson and reminder to us all. Never know if your mic's on or off.
So true.
Wow. Well, I feel traumatized.
Yeah.
Love rehashing my mistakes. Things that keep me up at night.
I love them. They're great stories.
Yeah. Now.
Yeah. True. You think about them later on in the darkest of night.
For real. Yeah. I definitely have had a few moments at midnight thinking about these things.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do we think that's about it?
Yeah. Where do you?
Where are we today? Yeah.
I picture at like my old house, we had like a living room, dining room that like had like a piano in it, and I just like picture that area, which is more like it's like a room that's not used that much, but like sometimes you sit around and talk for a long time.
Yeah.
Tell stories. Yeah.
Totally.
What about you?
Yeah, I was kind of thinking we're just like, I was thinking we were in our like college apartment kitchen, just chatting right after rehearsal. How terrible I did stuff like that.
Nice.
Well, tune in next week.
Yeah, we'll see you next week. Follow us on our social media or find us on Patreon for bonus content.
Book talk. Read the Avatar series with us. You lose your mind.
Hell yeah. Bye.
Bye.